Imagine a young orphan boy in the 1800s, penniless and alone. No connections, no safety net. Yet, against all odds, this child would one day build one of the world's most iconic luxury brands, Rolex. A watch not just worn, but worshipped. A symbol of status, success, and an unbreakable spirit. But why is it so expensive? And how did Rolex rise from a humble beginning to the pinnacle of prestige? Today, we'll unlock the secrets behind this legendary brand and uncover the hidden tale of Hans Wilsdorf, the enigmatic genius who defied fate and rewrote history. Hans Wilsdorf was born in 1881 in Germany, and for the first 12 years of his life, he was surrounded by family love. But tragedy struck suddenly. Both his parents died within months of each other. With no one left to care for him, Hans was sent to boarding school, an experience that left him heartbroken and isolated. But Hans didn't crumble. Instead, he buried himself in his studies, especially languages, planting the seeds for a global future he couldn't yet imagine. Years later, Hans took a job at a Swiss watch exporting company, where his language skills became invaluable. He was a humble clerk, learning the intricacies of watchmaking while winding hundreds of pocket watches every day. And each turn of a gear, each meticulous tick, ignited an obsession within him. The dream of creating a watch that was not just accurate but perfect. In 1903, Hans moved to London, taking on a more prominent role in sales and marketing for another watch company. He learned quickly what made a watch truly remarkable and the importance of brand reputation. By the time he was 24, Hans was ready to create something of his own. With a modest savings and a burning vision, he partnered with his brother-in-law, Alfred Davis, and together they started Wilsdorf and Davis, importing Swiss-made watches into the UK. But Hans had an even bigger goal in mind. At a time when wristwatches were dismissed as delicate women's jewelry, Hans boldly predicted they would soon replace pocket watches entirely. He believed the future lay in a small, elegant wristwatch that was both durable and precise. Now there was just one thing missing: a memorable name. Legend has it that, while scribbling ideas one day, a mysterious voice whispered the name Rolex into Hans' ear. Regardless of how he found it, Hans knew the name was perfect. It was short, catchy, and easy to say in any language. A true mark of a global brand in the making. Hans printed Rolex on every watch dial, building a brand image associated with elegance and strength. And his gamble paid off. In 1910, Rolex became the first wristwatch to earn a precision certificate, setting a new standard in an industry that was still skeptical of wristwatches. 4 years later, the British Observatory awarded Rolex another precision certificate, cementing its reputation for quality. When World War I erupted, Hans faced another crossroads. Though Rolex was thriving in London, Hans, with his German heritage, became a target for suspicion. At the same time, the British government imposed a hefty 33% tax on luxury goods. To escape these obstacles, Hans moved Rolex's headquarters to Switzerland, a move that would prove invaluable. While other watchmakers struggled or went bankrupt during the war, Rolex thrived. Soldiers needed durable wristwatches in the trenches, and Rolex delivered. Hans, the marketing mastermind, seized the moment, positioning his watches as essential for rugged adventures and daring exploits. By the 1920s, Rolex was worn by explorers, athletes, and adventurers, linking the brand forever with high achievement. In 1926, Rolex launched a watch that would forever change the game: the Rolex Oyster, the world's first waterproof wristwatch. Hans orchestrated a brilliant marketing stunt, convincing swimmer Mercedes Gleitze to cross the English Channel wearing the Oyster. After 10 hours in icy waters, the watch emerged perfectly intact. The media went wild, and Rolex became synonymous with durability. Hans knew that innovation alone wasn't enough. It needed to be seen. So he instructed Rolex dealers to display the Oyster in fish tanks, with live fish swimming around it. This unusual display captivated passers-by and spread the brand's reputation like wildfire. Hans' life took another tragic turn in 1945 when his beloved wife, Florence, passed away. Already an orphan, Hans was now widowed, and he began to consider his own legacy. He didn't want Rolex to be just another family business. So, in 1946, he created the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, transferring full ownership of Rolex to the organization. Today, the foundation owns Rolex entirely, and its profits quietly fund educational scholarships and watchmaking apprenticeships around the world. This unique structure gives Rolex a mysterious allure. The brand has no shareholders, no quarterly profit pressures, and no obligation to disclose financial details. Rolex operates in the shadows, quietly using its wealth to support charitable causes. The 1970s brought the rise of battery-powered quartz watches, which were cheaper and more accurate than traditional mechanical watches. The Swiss watch industry nearly collapsed, with employment plummeting from 90,000 to just 28,000. But Rolex stayed strong, sticking to its philosophy of quality over quantity, craftsmanship over shortcuts. Today, Rolex's legacy shines brighter than ever. In 2017, a Rolex Daytona owned by Hollywood icon Paul Newman sold for an astonishing $17.7 million at auction, a testament to its cultural status and timeless appeal. From royalty to rappers, world leaders to athletes, wearing a Rolex is a statement of excellence. But what truly makes Rolex so expensive? Some say it's the precision, handcrafted quality, or the reputation built over a century. Yet it's more than just a watch. It's a symbol of achievement, a marker of high status, and a link to Hans's incredible journey from orphaned dreamer to luxury icon. So the next time you see a Rolex, remember it's not just a watch, it's a story of resilience, vision, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Hans Wilsdorf's legacy is a reminder that even the most humble beginnings can lead to greatness. And for those who wear a Rolex today, it's a nod to that enduring spirit. Thanks for watching. And if you're as inspired by Hans Wilsdorf's story as we are, click here to dive into more tales of visionaries who changed the world forever.